You know what they like to say? We are so back. Welcome to round 2 of the Mini Stock National Tour as we take it to another classic American learning venue. Why not Summit Point Raceway? Another track in the beginning of many an iRacing driver's career. Quite a bit longer than the last one, though. Some very, very fast sections throughout the middle of the track, but some incredibly tight turns and the biblical looking turn 1. This could be one of many things: carnage, chaos, or just fantastic. There's only one way to find out, and that is to hit the track. Conditions are good, and we have a big field ready to run. And I'm joined alongside here by Anthony Cirino, one-time a driver here. He might be able to help us know a little bit about how this is going to go.
Yes, hello. I mean, it'll be interesting. Mostly because we have some fresh faces on this field, for one. 2, these things, they're basically ice skating with about 300 horsepower. They are scary. they are 300 horsepower ice skates.
And we learned the hard way that they're not symmetrical last week. So what I did is threw you out onto a track filled with right-hand turns again. We joke about turning left in stock cars, and it usually is a bit of a lame joke, but I'll be totally honest, it's going to be a little bit strange around here. Some of the tightest turns on this track, this car's still tilted one way, and the tightest turns on the track are going to send you wildly off. Qualifying's just gotten started, as I picked someone out at random. They get to be the one we showed. Michael Haflisterson. I am getting better at that name every moment I go, and just the nerves of being shown alone has sent him straight back to the pit. So let's keep on running around. It's Alex Kubelis getting out here onto the field. This is quite a long track, longer than Line Rock, but it has more tight braking zones. So very, very, I called the turn 1 biblical for a reason. We're going to get some heavy braking and then drivers just trying to swing it round there. Very different than the Line Rock turn 1 from last week. Very fast middle section, that crazy shoot, and then you're thrown right back out onto the track again for it all.
No. Yeah. The composition of this track, it's very fun in the slow stuff. Having done a Clio race myself here just a couple of weeks ago, it's very fun in the slow cars. However, slow cars with grip, not not off-centered oval cars that like to get a little sideways.
This isn't the first time this channel's broadcast from here. We've done the Skip Barbers 2 in the past, which were a very, very tricky car to get around as well. They slid and they slipped and they got tricky. We have given drivers 3 qualifying laps here in order to make sure they actually get something set on the board. As before, it's a 2-race format with the sprint and the feature, but pole position will get some bonus points on the board. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. I believe nobody has successfully set a qualifying time. So they'll eventually work one out as they cross the line. I'm not sure who's going to be the one that does it first, so I'm just sort of guessing around here. Maybe it's the 70701 of Alex Kubelis. Looks like he might be closest to crossing the line. I don't know if it's actually a clean one, though. Well, first lap's going to be the benchmark. I've seen some interesting things on the table coming in when it comes to the lineup of who might perform. But rather than spoil it and poison the well, let's just wait until we actually get some real times. Will Alex Kubelis have a clean one? I'm telling you, he will not. Yes, he will. That start line's half the way down, and it takes a while to update. It's a 1:22.876. I'm sure we can do better. Here's Michael again, just a little bit further behind. Hasn't gotten a clean one done yet, but we might be able to head on board and take a peek. This is honestly, for some reason I thought the racing queue would be normal, and then we witnessed week 1, which was 2 weeks ago. Your eyes didn't deceive you on that one. We took a break. We were hibernating, okay, and the schedule had to change a little bit in order to accommodate some more drivers onto the field. but I wasn't expecting the amount of death we saw. Do you think this track will be easier or harder?
I don't know. Quite frankly, I think it'll be a bit easier. Not due to the track itself, just due to the track conditions. As I'm assuming it's not as hot, it's not as humid as Lime Rock was, which was its biggest issue. That's what made it very slidey. These things don't exactly have the greatest contact patch, and the tires, they can get heated up pretty quick. And then with how hot Lime Rock was, it made it much harder to keep under control, and it became an ice rink very quickly. But I do think it'll be a bit easier. However, turn 1, and then I believe it's turn 4 after you go over the hilltop will probably be the biggest points of contention.
I hope we won't see them send it 3 wide again. And yes, I did make it a bit cooler in response to feedback. Throughout week 1, as I just left it on the temperature it gave me, and then it gave me over 30 Celsius. I don't quite know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I can tell you that it is very, very hot to be racing these cars. And here is the surprise driver. Dropped in for the first time this week. Vlad Tokarev wasn't around for the first week, but, you know, this series was dominated by the Alcantech team. The good old Swedish ringers in to just come in and ruin our day. And Vlad has shown up and is making them sweat. He was faster in practice, and he's looking faster right now with a 20.161 on the board to start. Still, 1 more lap for these drivers. As I said, 3 laps possible, so Vlad could still improve. Last lap, the 120 with the 31.4. Now we'll see how that Sector 2 goes, and we'll see if there is a improvement. It doesn't look like it. That second sector was a 31 last time around. That predicted lap's going to run a little bit slower, but he'll still keep the pole position for now, as that's his final lap. Locked in at the 120.1. Looking further back, another driver we haven't seen before is Lars Chenoweth, or Chenoweth, who I think has stopped the car. Who knows? We need to get the chopper out. Nah, that's the pit lane. That's a bad angle in the pit lane. Michael Half-Litterson. It's Half-Litterson. It's Half-Litterson. Yes, and then we say it quickly and like tongue twist you into oblivion. Michael you had an American way of saying this, Anthony, I believe. You had a way of fixing this problem once and for all, right?
Yeah, Half-Lidason.
Yeah, he wouldn't like it, but it's effective. It gets the job done.
I'm sorry if I offend anybody by saying it like this. I don't know how to say it either. So I'm going to say it in the way that is easiest for me and the person who cannot read things normally.
I know it is Half-Litterson. It's just saying it fast is really, really hard. While this lap, he did win in the first time around. This lap, if it's clean, could get within the 121s, but we saw a bit of a dip there. You can get away with a little bit of gravel dipping, but I'm wondering if he even made it at all. He did. It's P3. So that is a real lap in there. That helps. Vlad's probably going to take away these bonus points for the pole position, but you can get a good run going into the feature with a sprint where you sort of started and finished near the middle, as we do reverse the front of the grid. Only a few drivers got more. Lars just ain't getting out of that car anytime soon. Daniel Solo does have... Is that 1 more lap? It's not 1 more lap, and I think we're about to see... That's the iRacing new damage model at its best. Thank you for the show, Daniel. Now, unfortunately, we have a 1 minute 43 left in qualifying and only a driver who isn't going anywhere to show for it. So we'll just sit on board. And you know what? It's a current lap of 3 minutes. I think if we all root him on, Lars might set us the fastest lap so far.
He can do it. I believe in him. He can do it. He needs to put the car in drive.
Unlikely at this point. Unlikely. I might be able to catch some replays of things that did actually happen, though, while we wait for this qualifying account. Here's Will Shack, who had a little bit of an incident of his own. Did he just send it off the road after finishing his laps, though? There's a chance. I can only see what the numbers tell me, and thankfully the numbers do indeed tell me this time that incidents did actually happen, but probably not here. Did Lars have a bit of an off as well? We'll give that one more check, and then we'll probably have time to... this was actually the last time he ran. I'm not sure why it seems to be giving out 2Xs for people going out that corner, to be totally honest. Maybe the car violently bottoms out on the hill, and we... Oh, no, he is going to send it. He is going to send it straight into the Shadow Realm. And we do actually have Tyler Shaw. He promised he wouldn't be here. And now he did try to set a time on the board before disappearing. Tyler Shaw might have lied to me, might have set me up. Either way, our qualifying times are just about locked in, and the drivers are about to start gridding for the race. So, with that said, we can take a look at the starting grid as all the drivers are filled in for our sprint race. I'm just giving it time, letting it cook, letting it marinate. Here we go. It's Vlad Tokarev on P1 alongside Eric Blix. No, loving that the Alcantara cars bought different colours this time around. Daniel Solo is in P3 with Michael Haflizerson. I'm getting better at it. In P4. Matthew Crisp and Alex Kubelis sit behind in 5th and 6th. Lars Chenoweth in 7th with Anton Oman in 8th. And with Will Shack and Tyler Shaw sitting on the back if he does make it onto the grid. And Trevor Crosswright sitting in the last position. This sprint race is only going to be 5 laps long. There are points on the line, and we will be setting part of the grid for this feature race, which will be a decent amount longer. So, how bad do you think turn 1 could be, Anthony?
This first time around, I think somebody's gonna get punted. Simple as that. I think somebody is going to be sent either onto that escape road or right into the gravel trap.
There's a lot of sending to get done. It's one of the heaviest braking zones anyone will make the mini stock go through. I actually didn't want to put this on the schedule originally, in part due to that turn 1, but I'm sure we're going to love it. Daniel Solo is the last one who needs to get on the grid. I see Tyler Shaw is here. Either he was set up or he had a great change of heart at the last possible second. I do need to make an interesting shout out. We were going to have another Aeon Esports team member, Jamie Ascaro, who you saw in the first week, showed up, and her words, not mine. Guess who fell down the stairs and can't stand? Wishing you the best recovery possible. That is a fate worse than death, and we hope to see you around in a future week. Maybe this race will either prove you right or prove you wrong about not showing. Vlad will take control.
I do not mean to laugh. I'm sorry. That took me completely off guard there.
I think it's okay. I would say it's okay to laugh. We'll see how she feels about that one after the fact. Here's Vlad on board. Vladimir's a bit of a long way of saying it. Vlad Tokarov controls the field. We have the short pace lap going down with Eric Blix next to him. And we are green straight away. Cars super tight side by side, but it looks like that right lane is almost being pushed. I see Tyler Shaw really moving around in the back. That's the orange Alcantara car getting a little bit unsettled there by the car behind us. We throw it into turn 1. Daniel Solo trying to throw it wide around the outside. There's a bit of contact. Eric Blix unsettled, but he still holds it together. It is a lobby of survival making it out of turn 1. Trevor Crosswright a little bit further behind, but that's just the nerves. Here's now Daniel on the rear of Eric, trying to unsettle, trying to move him out of the way. You gotta watch it carefully. These Alcantara cars are going for each other's blood right now, and up the inside, Michael Hafnerson makes a good dive into the chute. This is a tight technical part of the course. He really wanted to get that one done. Vlad Tokarev running away as we see more Alcantara on Alcantara violence. It is Daniel here in the middle, sort of taking the wrath from both sides a little bit. They're on each other's bumpers coming out the first lap.
I mean, enough contact to definitely scare somebody, but I mean, I gotta give it to him. First full lap, no real problems just yet. I mean, fair enough. I do believe it was 104, I think. I saw nearly get spun out exiting turn 1, but everybody survived. I'll give him that.
Few Crisp isn't done being attacked as Alex Kubelis tries to set up a pass here on the inside. I see a bit of the outbreak. This is going to get physical as these cars struggle to turn right on the best of days. And that's Kubelis getting turned, not making enough into the corner, and getting sent into the grass, opening up positions from behind there. That's he's getting taken past left, right, and centre here, Matthew Crisp, but he drops down the pecking order. Lars Chenoweth sneaks up into P4, blocking off Will Shack, though, who isn't quite able to get past Anton Oman, staring him from behind, trying to get more in now that this has been unsettled a little bit. Matthew Crisp going to try and hit on the back of his 22 and get past. I think I just saw Will Shack go wide there and lose out places. He's going to struggle now, holding off Michael Halfditterson, who's got a very, very big road to make up.
Yeah, so that incident in turn 1, that's what I expected to see. Now, it was a brave dive up the inside, but just couldn't make it stick. Not with the brakes and the grip these things have. That's not something that can stick that easy.
There's been quite a bit of tangling in the back here between Tyler Shaw and Trevor Crosswhite. We'll get more replays on that when the opportunity arises, as Anton Oman isn't done attacking at all. He's all over the rear of Lars Chenoweth, trying to make that move, but Lars holds off the inside very well, and this pack will stay compressed together. 3 to go in this very quick sprint. We'll be reversing the top 8 at the end of this session in order to really mix up the field, as Michael Halfditterson makes it around the inside of Alex Kubelis here for a position. Everyone dipping a little bit of the gravel on that turn. Probably a bit too much there from Will Shack behind. But Anton Oman still tangling. That's Lars. He gets the better entering the tight technical section. And in fact, it's going to be a bit unsettling from the 81 further behind. He tries to punch his way through the hole. Doesn't quite get it. And Matthew Crisp now is getting away with it. Still some huge battling here.
I know you just missed it, but the 81 just took the inside, as well as when as the person he was fighting decided to end up going wide and missed the corner entirely, lost 2 positions in that, and fell back as Michael took up into 5th.
Lars Chenoweth now going to try and make a gap back. It's 8th place that gets pole in the race. 2 to go, and Vlad Tokarev has sort of run away with it. We'll take a look on board for a little bit here, though, with Lars as he tries to eye up Anton Oman up ahead in the 42. A little bit on the rear bumper as he gets the outbreak, but I think we are going to see the bumper get used more and more as this race, and the next one especially, progresses. Last one we saw the intro to the feature become way more aggressive than the intro to the sprint. So I think these drivers are going to be out for blood once they know how to get around this track. This has been a bit of a learning experience in this sprint round. But this is
I'd
scary.
say they're out for blood already.
This is
I would say they're out for blood.
I think we've seen a little bit of violence, a little bit of stock car racing as we love it. But the field is starting to settle out. Lars Chenoweth could take a place. Only the top 8 get points from the sprint. There's more on offer for the whole field in the second round. Here's Vlad Tokarev as he crosses the line to get the white flag now. As down further behind, I see Daniel Solo struggling to keep it on the road in that number 13. I don't want to know the incident counts for these drivers after the fact at all, but it's been a clear 0x from Vlad Tokarev as he begins his white flag lap. It'll put him back in the feature, but he's got a lot of points on the board already. He's just run away from the field today.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing real good. Even in practice, he was fastest man on track in practice, and he has clearly showed that pace is still there. I mean, his qualifying lap was faster than his practice lap by 0.04 of a second.
Absolute weapon out there today. Anton Oman within a second of Alex Cubis, but it will take a mistake really to give this one up, I think. He is gaining time, but, you know, these positions, we're running out of time and we're running out of places. As Vlad Tokarev comes around to claim this first ever P1 in this league in his first ever sprint. He'll be set back for the feature, but with pace like this, I think the start will be electric, and he could make it a double. Vlad Tokarev wins the first sprint. Eric Blix behind. Daniel Solo takes up P3. And Matthew Crisp and Michael Hafliston will claim the next two places. Michael really making up the positions again. Oh, he's going for the jump. The fun police came in to stop him. The fun police came in to stop him. We'll have a feature race very, very soon. But I'll just very quickly bring you the results of that first heat with Vlad Tokarev scoring the maximum points. Eric Blixton 2 with Daniel Solo, Matthew Chris, Michael Hafliston, Alex Kubelis, Anton Oman, Lars Chenoweth, don't ask what's going on over there, Will Shack, Trevor Crosswright in P10, and I think there's a couple drivers further behind. Tyler Shaw in 11th. We'll be back in just a second with more racing, but first of all, we can grab some replays in the 5 minutes of warm-up that these drivers have, which I'm sure they'll get up to no tomfoolery whatsoever in. Here's where how Tyler Shaw dropped off the field. This wasn't how he dropped off the field. It happened a little bit earlier, but quite struggling with this quite difficult car. Hate to put you on blast, Tyler, but we have one more for you where that came from. This was the tangle between him and the 24 near the back. It was under his own power. I was curious if there was a contact there, but it was just throwing the car hard into that corner. Well, that's what the practice is for everyone. Here's Michael Hafliston going a little bit. I wonder if we can go back a little bit more and catch up more of that incident. He tries to send it up the inside here, and I think he's not quite steering enough. I think both drivers are sort of not helping their own case here, unfortunately. Not really sure how much further he can go, but the 18 is just trying to push. You know, the 18 and the 81 getting together, in my view, is it totally adds to the confusion.
It's poetic.
It's when you see them in the same space and you don't really know what they're doing. He got sent back by that, but he did climb his way back up. There were plenty of passes around the field, actually. Here's Michael making up another one, as he was sent to the back and just made up places. Does have the pace in the tank. Have a better starting position going into the next round. One clean pass there. And we got one more coming where that came from. You seem to get it done in this back half of the track. I didn't think there'd be too many big passes around here. I thought this would be where everybody sort of had to hold on to their pants. But, nah, that's the beginning of the lap. That is the fast sweeper. Everyone loving to take a little bit of gravel over there. And then one more for him to make up P6. Further up ahead, there is a tangle there between the 42 and the 22. And that just gives him the window to sneak in. And actually, he does just bumper his friend to the side. Just a bit. Hey, they know how to stop car race. You have to let them touch, and if you don't let them touch,
of course,
what are you doing? The car in front just going super wide there, losing it under that power. Some of these slower corner exits are really proving to be difficult for some of these drivers. As you got around Anton Oman there. I wonder what some of these drivers are getting up to in the warm-up. I think there might be meatballs coming out.
Yes. Airtime. I don't know how to put it any other way. Let's just say a lot of them decided to go for a big ski jump of sorts.
I didn't know about the jump until now. I've found out
really
about the jump on Summit Point.
You never knew about that Oh, it's so much fun. You take something real fast in a straight line like the COT, you can fly.
I think we are being trolled by a sim racing team here who are going to, the moment they know they're on camera, deliver something disgusting for us.
Go
Oh,
on, boys. You can do
oh
it.
no. I think that was just a silly little mistake. Just a few more minutes to go until the race restart. And this team,
Or
that
maybe.
they promise they don't race as a team. They promise they'd rather take each other out along the way. And I think they've been doing a little bit of that so far. They did it during the first round, and we've seen a bit more of it this time around. They race each other harder than anybody else. And they'll come out to prove dominance on the road. And they're crazy. Oh, you can't cut the course like that, man. You have to slow down and give up the time
You can't
gained.
cut it like that.
Ooh. Only the most serious racing leagues, okay? Only the most... You know what? I won't clear the black flags for that one. Only the most serious racing here at Aeon Esports. Hey, I give you 5 minutes of warm-up for a reason, and we are about to hop straight into the second race. Once they're done door banging. Maybe I should just give
boys,
them
you
a
got
point
20
penalty.
seconds.
I should just give them a point
on.
penalty, you know? I should just tell them, like,
Yeah.
hey, you have a black flag you didn't serve. Sorry, mate. Get out of here.
Just disqualify them from qualifying for the next race. Go on, boys. You know you want to take the jump. Yeah, there it is.
It's an absolute fiesta. I'm glad we've all found out something today. The warm-up transition is over, so we're getting straight into the feature race, which is quite a bit longer than that sprint, so plenty more time for attack and a reversed top 8. Let's see if I can get that feature grid showing anytime today. I know it can do it. I know it can do it. Here we go. Lars Chenoweth will start on P1 with Anton Oman in P2. Alex Kubelis in 3 with Michael Haflisterson in 4th. I've noticed just try and get out quickly, even if it's not right, and that works. Matthew Christ will take up 5th, with Daniel Solo in 6th. Eric Blixt in 7th, with Vlad Tokarev, our sprint winner and dominator, having to fight through 7 cars to now get up the field. Will Shack will start in 9th, with Trevor Crosswhite in 10th, and Tyler Shaw in the back in 11th. Drivers are starting to grid now. I have brought out the classic pace car for the really iconic Mustang. Back in the day, back in my day, this was the iRacing pace car. Before we had any of that Porsche, we had a classic Mustang that has an old livery that stands out like a sore thumb.
And if you ask me, it shouldn't have been changed.
I bet some money changes hands behind the scenes to decide the pace car, because we're getting a new BMW.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Which I'm not complaining about. But I feel like the Mustang should have been the set-in-stone baseline.
Well, I'm a fan of the truck, but we'll see what happens.
The truck is a lot of fun.
Lars Chenoweth leads the pack going into this feature race. We have more laps to go, and we go green. Well, when he's in control, really. He's going to launch it right now. And they're almost about to send it free wide on him straight away. I think that's Anton Oman trying to go up the middle. Gives up on that quite quickly. I'm very, very scared for this attack. They have gone free wide down behind. 4 Alcantara cars pile in. That's several turned around. There's a big one. I'm trying to work out who's collected there. That's Anton Oman collected, and Matthew Crisp, our main 2 victims. They sent it about as hard and as fast as possible, and Vlad Tokarev is already in P3. How did that happen?
That is what I expected from first lap of the sprint. Vlad was going slow. He was keeping it steady and easy going around the outside. He didn't get collected in that.
I will have to see how he made his way up through that field. That was a fantastic run. And now he's exactly where he wants to be, as he'll immediately try and get past Lars Chenoweth here for the P2. Only Michael Haflisterson on the road. He was fast in the last round, so this will be a trickier opponent. But you have to set up that pass and earn it. Lars now under attack from Eric Blixt. from behind as we swing through this final corner. It's quite frankly too fast for anyone's measure. Daniel Solo behind with Tyler Shaw, who's made it into that top 6 despite not getting a reversed position. This could very much be a good point recovery. Further behind, I do see it 3 wide. Anton Omen the better of it, but with Will Shack here and Alex Kubelis nearby. Shaq's gonna send it in very, very deep. Is it too deep? It probably is too deep. He's going to need to rejoin behind the field. That's Matthew Crisp in last. A lot to make up. 9 laps in this feature race, as that's Daniel Solo using Lars's bumper as hard as possible. Giving him a nice bumper and unsettle. It doesn't quite do the job for now, but he's going to be all over the rear, and he's showing some absolute aggression to get through as the cars slow significantly for that deep, deep hairpin. Don't think Daniel's going to get it done here, though. He's going to look left, look right, try and sneak up. That's Lars around, though. I think Lars just got turned around. Little bit of contact on the road. We'll review that one after the fact. I think that was a little bit of a bumping gone too far. Anton Omen alongside Tyler Shaw going to get past, and it's Kubelis looking to set up that move next.
Yes, we'll have to see what happened with that incident there with Solo. We might have just found out who somebody's favorite NASCAR driver is with that move, depending on what had happened.
What's your pet theory?
I think his favorite might have been Dylan with a right rear hook.
Dylan committed murder. Dylan committed murder. That was just merely...
If there was a wall there, it would have been the same, would it not? It only wasn't because there was open.
Slightly lower speeds.
Yes, but with less than half the horsepower, it's going to be slower.
Very, very true. Vlad Tokarev is already all over the rear of Michael Havlicison and is ready to try and strike. This would be a double win and an absolute clean sweep of the start of this season. We've added a drop week, so even though he's starting late, he'll be getting a full sweep's worth of points in the championship. As Lars Chenoweth is gone himself wildly off the track there. See if I can just very quickly catch that replay. There is a black flag, I think. Okay, yeah, so I see what happens.
Very much misses braking point.
Misses the corner and cuts the whole thing off. iRacing will deal with that one in kind. I think that black flag is still hanging around there. I think it's automatically a pit lane penalty for cutting that hard. It doesn't even try to slow you down. Vlad Tokarev now trying to size up that P1. His races go by way quicker than any of us ever really expected here. As
a little bit of contact between the two.
Sizing him up. A little bit of contact's fair game as Alex Kubelis is also bumping and banging with Anton Omen. I think Eric Blitz, though, is also in the game. Staring down the back of Vlad and Michael. Any one of these three could take an easy win if the stars align for them. But not for now. They all settle in 1 and 2 and 3. I think Vlad's going to make this move sooner rather than later. And when he does, that will possibly be the ball game. He has been the fastest on the road so far.
Yeah, as long as he can carry his speed out of the final turn, I imagine he'll be doing it in a turn 1 just fine.
It's the biggest, the toughest braking zone. Real slide out wide there for Michael. That's going to hurt his speed on the straight. Well, I thought it would. They're running almost exactly the same. Michael catching a little bit of the draft there from Vlad. Michael's going to move along to the side, seize up the inside line. I think that means he's going to get to keep it unless he's sent too deep. Oh, Vlad right into the rear. I mean, that was not a 4X, would you believe it? That actually counted as a 0X contact, the proper full rear bumper treatment. I think Lars Chenoweth is serving the longest hold in history for that legendary course cut. And he may as well be out of the running. Looking at the other drivers, Tyler Shaw has kept it on the road so far. Much better run than the sprint and is now being stared up by Trevor Trevor and Alex front and behind. There's plenty of battling and places still to make, and everybody scores points from this second round. But back here, it's going to get defined by a mistake more than it's going to get defined, I think, by a great success.
Well, that is the love of, that is why we have a love of racing after all. It's not always about who's better, it's just about who's not as bad. Who makes the least mistakes.
How do I get any of my results? From watching other people mess up, and how do they all disappear? By me doing the messing up myself. It's like the even trade. You give and you take away. Vlad Tokarev still on the rear, not quite getting it done. And still, Mike I think he's going for this big heavy push out of the corner every single time. Just trying to tell him, like, move aside. If you want to unsettle someone, it doesn't seem like the place to me. It doesn't seem like it's doing much work. You want to do it at some higher speeds, but the overtakes.
What it looks like is Vlad is simply holding more speed mid-corner, but because he's getting completely blocked by the exit of the corner, there's not a whole lot he could do with the amount of grip that these cars have. So his real only choice is to just slam the back end of Michael and hope that something comes of it.
Yeah, it seems as if it seems to be a bit of a masterclass of defensive driving from Michael Halflisserton up ahead. He is definitely not the faster of the two on raw pace, but if you can stay in front and stop the driver behind, then really, who's winning? Vlad going to try and make it move again. I'm looking at the speed of these drivers, and they are almost identical on their position on the start-finish every single lap. We have 3 to go. And as you see, Michael just takes the inside line proactively. Actually gets out of the way of Vlad. It's almost like an opposite block. And as a result, he just has that exit speed every time. He certainly knows and has certainly practiced how to stay ahead. Further down the road, we have another little battle evolving. It's Trevor and Tyler still having some nice duels in themselves. It's Tyler that's going to take the inside again, and we've noticed this seems to be the profitable strategy, but he has opened up there on the outside, and that's going to give Trevor a possible advantage. They're side by side for now, still not quite the overlap to make a pass, and he backs out of it. No speed to complete the job.
And if we go back to the fight for the lead right now, they are actually coming up on a back marker of Lars. And never mind, it seems he'd gotten out of the way for him just fine.
That's one way.
I think is the first time we've come across a back marker so far this season. I don't think we've had a back marker get overtaken like that yet.
The races aren't really long enough for it to happen naturally. You'd have to get a legendary stop and hold penalty, the likes of which he did get over a minute's worth of stop and hold in order to set that one up. 2 to go. Michael Halflisserton has already set up this inside line, but now Vlad has the run. He's significantly faster. There's going to be a bit of door banging. He has the worst line for entry. Will he have it on exit? I still think it's Michael's, you know, but this next turn, it opens up into a left-hander, so often you kind of want to seize the inside. They both get back into a single file line. Vlad still chilling in the wings. No big plays yet. He's running out of laps, though, and running out of corners to do it. It'll be the white flag next time he crosses the line, and that'll be the ball game. Vlad still just trying to size up his opponent. This is a very, very good battle. I think, though, it will go down in fireworks.
And due to this battle, number 95 has also caught back up to the tail of Vlad as well, now making it a true 3-way fight instead of him just watching from the distance.
Eric Blixt is staring it down, and he could make this a real 3-way battle here with just 1 to go to decide this race. It's between 3, the 81, the 77, and the 95. So we cross the start finish, get the white flag. Vlad is staying in that slipstream, trying to get as much as possible. He's now going to set himself up on the outside. He has the advantage. He has the clearance for now. It's going to be an outbreaking game. This corner could decide everything. Michael Havlicison still has the edge of it. They're coming together. I don't want to see someone get turned. They both don't get turned, but now Eric Blixt is back in the game, and he's, in fact, going to take that opportunity straight from Vlad. Thank you very much.
We might have to look at that block there. I mean, he kind of just threw Vlad off the track. I don't know.
I think these cars don't take that corner very, very well. You know they're asymmetrical already by themselves, and that's a bit... We've seen quite a few cars not quite take it properly. Vlad Tokarev wants to make some positions back. There's only a few more corners to do it. Eric Blix might have just played the points robbery game here. Michael Havlicison has played a defensive masterclass to hold off some faster drivers for the duration of this race, and he could cross this feature as a surprise winner after a crazy, crazy start. Eric Blix has one more chance to make his move to try and steal this win at the last second. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, and these cars aren't quite drafty enough, I think, to make this a drag race to the end. So he'll be a win for second feature win for Michael Havlicison. He thought he was out of it. He remains very much in it, as I presume they've crossed the line with that contact. Yes, indeed they have. That's okay. That's okay. Vlad, a heartbreaking P3 for a driver that absolutely had it in the system today to go and win, but it just wasn't to be. Further down the road, Daniel Solo in 4th, Matthew Crisp in 5th, and Anton Oman in 6th. Trevor Crosswhite and Tyler Shaw have been having a great battle of their own for this whole race, but I think it will be Tyler's for P9 as they throw themselves off the road. Well, I'll say a lot happened.
Yes, okay, so I was wrong about their contact. There was a little bit of net coding involved. Their cars kind of sunk into each other there around through turn 1 when Vlad kind of got shoved off. There was some net coding involved, so...
You're going to let them get away with it?
I think it's fair. Yeah, it was on accident. I don't think he meant to do that. I don't think... With how he's been driving all day, I don't think Michael would do something like that. Well, I do understand why, though. I mean, he was keeping off a hard charge a new guy.
Well, we will take a look at this, plenty of the interesting replays that kicked off around here. Further up the field, it's this race start. It was, it was all the way up here. I mean, this just happened. So much happens here. We're going to have to, pause and, get out the pen and just start drawing on the screen what could have possibly happened here, because I thought it would all just become electric the moment the feature started, and it definitely did. Who's the one guilty one other than the 13 for sending it free wide, do we think? They really are. They were willing to send it free wide the whole way down. I think it's a comedy of errors here. That 42 gets turned by the 13, and then that's going to begin this just chain reaction. You can see there Vlad just dodging around the outside as everything explodes behind him. That's how he makes up all of those positions. But really, that's what happens when you run your free wide shenanigans out on the first lap, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in these things around there, there's really no other way that could have gone. As sad as that is, there's no other way such an attempt could have ended.
Well, we're gonna catch a few interviews soon, but first let's go for a few more replays of things that have happened during the race. It seems to think that was a crash. I think that was just the pit stop for the massive off, but we might be able to actually catch when that black flag happened. It was due to missing the corner. I just don't really think he realised that you don't get a slowdown for cutting this corner this aggressively. You just get given 90 seconds by race control to sit and think about your actions. He misses the corner, and I'm gonna presume this was a good faith attempt to recover to the track and make up the time, and then race control just tells you you're in there for a minute and a half. Think about what you've done in the penalty box.
Yeah. I mean, can't really fault him for it. He did cut, 3-4 corners there doing that? Understandably wide, but...
I heard here, they say you cut the course. I'm trying to catch some of these possible incidents. There was another bit of a turning that we saw earlier on in the race. This is just going wide there from Anton Oman. And it wasn't the first time he was really involved. Here's another incident ahead. It could involve, so I think it involves does the car of Matthew Crisp just sort of do it himself as well? I don't think this is the turning point. Yeah, everybody's missing turn one. Very hard to get the car properly slowed for that. Very, very hard.
I mean, corners like that are never easy in these things, just because they're not made to. I mean, they're a bit difficult to do just on flat ovals normally. Now doing it on an off-cantered right turn instead of left, it gets a little tricky.
I think this may have been one of the big inciting incidents of the day between Lars Chenoweth and the 13 car of Daniel Solo.
Oh, he did right hook him.
He did. That was a little bit of contact. Probably gone a little bit too far, as we can catch one more of that. I looked away at the exact point of impact, but I get the feeling that he's trying to sneak into the gap. It's not quite going to happen. And Lars Chenoweth's very bad day is turned worse throughout that the course of that one. And then it's this legendary battle at the front to sort of decide the fate of this race. And let me say, this just kicked off around the P1. Let's just see if I can grab the moment perfectly here. Was it there? This involves the P2. Eric Blix passing Vlad Tokarev for P2. I think what's happened is just both the drivers have tried to claim that tarmac. They're both sort of sending themselves back, and as a consequence, that's going to let him just slip right in. These cars really hated that first turn, and we saw endless examples of it. Now, I'm going to slowly start just bringing people in. If you've not done a stage before, I'm going to right-click you, invite you to speak. There should be a button somewhere to join the speaker, and then we can talk to you. This is our winner, Michael. I think it's Haflisterson, but I keep getting it wrong. So you might want to help me out with that one.
It's good enough. I'll allow it.
I mean, how would you say it? How is your...
I would say Haflisterson.
Can you give me, Anthony, can you give me your rendition of that?
Well...
Anthony, can you give me your rendition, please?
Haflisterson.
Yeah, okay. That's the American speaking. Well, we got a new driver hits the grid and is unfathomably fast, but you held him off for the whole length of that feature. What was that experience like for you?
It was chaotic. So I got a really good start, and I was up to first after turn 1 or 2, I think. Then I just heard Daniel screaming like, "Oh fuck, we lost Vlad. Hopefully defend like a lion." And so I had to do that, and somehow Blix also managed to get the second place, which is good.
So I noticed, I think you were definitely, it wouldn't be offensive to call you the slower driver, but your strategy into turn 1 seemed to just do it every time. You held off, you dived into that inside and just held off Vlad, and there wasn't another way through. New driver to the league, of course, but what did you think? Was there any chance before it happened, or did that race just magically transpire for you?
I think it magically transpired. I did not have the pace against Vlad, but I think the stewards need to check his car because that's way too fast.
Well, have you guys been cheesing your setups? Our resident setup cheeser fell down the stairs today, so we don't have that. But instead, we have. Were you guys just running that fixed?
We just put together some spaghetti setup the last 5 minutes before the qualifying started.
Yeah, I hear that if you make it symmetrical, it fails tech inspection.
Yep.
It's like iRacing doesn't want you to succeed. Did you catch any of that lap 1? Is there anything you have to like? What was your perspective of what kicked off there? Because that was exactly as we sort of expected, I think.
I threw my car on the inside and just hooked the inside the best as I could, and I saw Anton spinning around on the outside.
We'll be able to talk to one of the true victims of that one soon. I think that was just carnage. I'm not going to ask every team member for this because I think you'll all name your sponsors one at a time. So I'll just let you do this if you have any shout outs before we move on.
Yeah, thanks to all the sponsors in Alcantech and all the guys over there. It's mega fun to drive with them.
Well, you guys bring a lot of thunder and excitement to this racing, and you guys certainly drive each other to death. So I'd love to see
best.
more. As we next round, we head to Alton, which I think is going to kill some of these cars. Now, moving on to the other member of the audience, it is Mr. Blixt. Hello. Well, you were one of the victims, I think, of that race start. Was there anything you could do? Were you like a passenger or?
Well, the grass was open, so I took that line. It worked out.
Oh,
decently.
That was you cutting the grass
Yeah.
on the inside there.
Yeah, the make was crispy getting a handful of Alcantech. So yeah, I got on the grass. Suddenly we lost Vlad. He got an easy pass by. So hopefully I had to do the dirty work and keep him busy.
So you weren't quite a victim, you were a beneficiary as we see you sneak through. That's the classic Alcantech feature race carnage, I think. For the rest of that race, you showed up out of nowhere at the end of it, but you were always within range to attack. What did you make of the incident ahead that gave you that first?
Well, I was thinking about also pushing by Huffley, but yeah, it would probably have ended the same way we ended up on Lime Rock, and I don't think that's a very good decision to do that again if you want to keep fighting for the championship.
Well, if I did it, there's a reason I'm not doing a teams championship. Okay, like let's just say that you guys set it up pretty badly for that, but the friendly competition is really out of control among you guys. You guys, you know how to race both aggressively and a little bit dirty, but exactly in the way that you all can put up with each other, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have fun as well.
I'm just saying, like, I'm penalizing like stupid stuff, but like, if it's between Alcantech members, I am generally looking the other way a lot more. I'm just telling you that's actually the league policy here because I assume that you guys
we're gonna fix it in our Discord.
You guys are self-enforcing, so like we don't need to deal with that. Try not to make me regret that decision. Any other observations on your race day today? How was the track?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good combo for sure.
Well,
kind of troublesome finding the right gearing, but it is what it is.
Well, a great, fun race. I'm not sure there's anyone else here who wants to talk right now. Anthony, you were one of the last race, and well, look how that turned out. So I know we're down a person in the interview booth at the very least. Well, we should be here same time next week, and we'll be going to one of the short layouts of Alton Park. It's another quick track, but it's one absolutely filled with wild elevation change. I think these cars are going to be sent airborne.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if, like in the practice of today's race, somebody gets a little bit of airtime. Yes. I will not be surprised if I see at least some of that. I won't say somebody will go flying, but I will expect somebody to at least have 2, if not 3 wheels off in the air.
That's the
Which
way.
3? Who knows?
They may not have built a ramp into it, but the British tracks always produce some unique carnage anyway. Recapping our final feature results, it's Michael Halflitterson. I am really bad at this. In P1, right behind Eric Blix, Vlad Tokarev, our new entrant. Fantastic performance. I hope to see him come back with Daniel Solo, Matthew Crisp, Anton Oman, Alex Kubelis, then Tyler Shaw, who did stay within that top 8. Trevor Crosswhite in P9 with Will Shack in P10, and Lars Chenoweth getting a bit unlucky with the off track and sending himself a couple laps down to finish. Well, that's it for this this round of the mini stock series. More to come, as said before. It's always a lot of fun bringing these cars out here, and it's an absolute treat bringing it to you. But we'll be approaching the halfway mark next week. So from me, Howie Burroughs, and Anthony Cirino, we're wishing you a good night wherever you are. I'm presuming it's evening for most of you. And subscribe to the channel for more. We got plenty more racing over the coming weeks, not just this series. Thank you very much.